Alright, we are back from our trip to Utah, Nevada, a little bit of Arizona. It was fun. Dogs had a good time. Family had a good time. But the Montero, it did well. It held up. Nothing major broke down. But we definitely have a lot of work to do to it now that we're back. The main priority is getting this ready to go so we can go to the Overland Expo in May. I think the 20th. Not sure exactly the date on that, but we're going to be there, I think, for 2 days. We're going to do Friday and Saturday, and then come back. What's up, Hannah? You looking for me? The big thing that I'm going to do that I really didn't like on the trip, front brakes, the rotors are definitely warped on that. I can feel it when I'm putting the brakes on. So we have new rotors, which I've had. We have new brake pads, which I've had. But last time I went to put these on, I realized that I needed new bearings. So I just put the old ones back on until I ordered all these parts. So we're going to put new bearings and races on. And there's a seal that goes with it on each of the hubs. And I decided, since I'm going to pull the hubs apart, I'm going to put these locks on the hubs. That way we can unlock the front wheels and not put extra stress on the front drivetrain, and hopefully improve gas mileage, even if it's a little bit, because the gas mileage in this thing sucks. Tell you what, our trip to Washington was about $1,000 in gas, just gas alone. So that's yeah, that's a pricey trip. So we probably spent that on our trip out to Utah this time too, with everywhere that we went. So anywho, let's get this going, huh? Yeah, first thing we got to do is take out the bottom bolt on the caliper. And then this whole caliper should slide off from the top. And set the caliper up here. We don't want to hang it from this brake line. Next, got brake pads. With a brake pad. See, those are pretty worn. Take the little clips off. Just 2 bolts. And normally there's also a little bolt that holds this piece to this. Now when I took these off last time, that just immediately snapped off. So we're gonna have to drill that out, tap it, put a new screw in there. Next, we're gonna have to take this hub apart. Alright, we need to take this cover off. Supposed to use a pry bar, which I don't have. So it's just a cover. And there's a snap ring there. Doesn't have the ears on it. There's the washer. Super thin. Try to hold that. Okay, and then we just need to pry this thing off. Oh, comes right off. Okay. And then that is the hub cap, hub cover, I don't know what you want to call it, but this I don't believe will be going back on. This is where our locks will go. Alrighty, and then there are 2 Phillips head screws. One right there and one right there. And that one looks like it's already been stripped out. That's awesome. It's nice, it came pre-stripped. This one is not stripped. I think you could use a number 3 Phillips head. Fortunately, I don't have one. All I have is a number 2. So that is what we are using. And then this, oh, that worked. Oh. I'm going to be gentle with that, but it seems like it just came right out. It's this lock ring of sorts. There's a ring in here, and mine is loose. There's a tool that we have that we can put in here to tighten this down or loosen it if we need to. We don't need that here right now. Alright. That is a lock ring. And that looks like that. This. Oh. We have the bearing. Alright. There's a 10. Alright, we pulled everything off of here and we're down to the bare axle, I believe. That's as far as we need to go there. I just need to clean that up. Before we do that, I have put all these parts in the tub and sprayed degreaser on them. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and then flip them over, spray them some more. And then I believe I need to take this apart so we can mount this to the actual rotor. Alright, so I think this little ring here is for the ABS. And I'm going to take that off first. And then we have our ring. I'm sure there's an easier way to make this happen. Alright, I got a chisel and a hammer. We're just trying to break this apart. Which we have done. Alright, I guess that's the hub. We're going to keep that part. Just going to take this. We're just going to squeeze this seal out. So there's the seal that we're going to replace. Alright, I took the punch and hit the race where those little 3 grooves are, and it came right out. Just kind of slowly worked my way around. There we go. One bearing race out. Alright, race number 2 out. Little ledge right here that the race sat on. You can see the little groove there that allows us to punch it out. Same thing on the other side. Just groove right here, and the grooves on the edge here, there's 3 of them that allow us to punch it out. So we just need to press the other race in there as soon as I get done cleaning this whole thing. Let's try to punch a hole first. We are trying out a Ryobi #1 spiral screw extractor. Let's see if this works, huh? Hammer it first. Take this slow. See if this helps. We're going to let that sit for a little bit and see if that helps at all. Alright, we have let this sit all night and we're going to try it again. That didn't even come close to working. Snapped it right off. That is a small bolt stuck very deep. Alright, well, that's a big question mark. What are we going to do about that? Alright, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So here's how this is going to go. First, I believe we put this on. Not sure what that is exactly. Some sort of guard. Then we put this on here. And those are the 4 bolts that bolt that in to there. Then we assemble the hub. So we have to press in. We have to press in the bearing race, one on each side of the hub. So one on this side, one on that side. Press those in, and then we lube and install the bearings, both sides. The bearing seal, I believe, goes on this side, and that just gets pressed in right on the top there. And then, once that is all together and ready to rock, we then put this here. And then that is attached with these bolts and nuts. So those all go there. Once that's on, then this lock nut screws on. This then goes on top of that, and then that's screwed down with these 2 screws. Then, take this apart. This piece goes on. It's bolted down with these bolts, which go here. Actually, we can set that there, like so. That's bolted down. Then, this washer and lock ring go on right here. That'll go onto the axle itself. Then we put this on top like so, tighten these bolts down, and then we're done. Well, sorry, we're not done actually. we're done with the hub. Alright, once the hub's all done and everything's on, then we put this on with the brake pads and we install the whole brake caliper system. Then we put the wheel on and then we are actually done. And I'm still not sure how I'm going to address this little bolt. I might just ignore it because it's not coming out and I don't think it's worth pursuing. The only thing it does is it attaches this to there. This might rattle a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. In fact, I just drove 2,000 miles with it like that, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Alright, so it is time to try to get rid of these wheels and tires. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all the air out of this one and I'm going to attempt to remove that lock ring and pull the tire off. So I can sell the tires separately from the wheels because, well, the tires could be used on many different applications, many different rims and many different trucks, but the wheels are very Unimog specific. I don't want to narrow my my options trying to find somebody who wants both. So just in case you're new to this, this is just a this is just an ARB easy deflator, they call it. So real simple. And you can use this on any vehicle. This normally is in my Montero, but this piece here, you just screw onto the valve stem. So it's this middle knob. Screw that on. And then you can see this slides back and forth. So that would be off. This would be on. On being letting the air out. So we're going to turn it off at the moment. And then this one has little notches on the end. It's going to grab the valve stem. And you just kind of seat it on the valve stem. You can feel it. And then you just unscrew the valve stem. Once the valve stem is undone, it'll come out. And you can turn this, pull this up, and it releases air, stops releasing air. And then when you push it in, you can actually see what the pressure is. So you'll see I'll pull it out. Completely changes. When you stop releasing, then you can see the actual pressure. So we'll let that sit for a while. Alright, it is time to start putting this front wheel back together. First thing we got is the dust cover. It's going to go on like so. And we have 4 bolts. Alright, I was looking in the manual and I do not see a torque spec for these. Probably because they're Phillips head, and I'm just going to tighten them down. Alright, next up we're going to take the, I think this is the ABS ring, and we are going to install it onto the rotor. We're going to put a little bit of aluminum anti-seize on here. And then we are going to tighten these down to 9 foot-pounds. In the middle of all that, I'm waiting for something. I am going to work on the passenger side window switch. It works fine going up, so when we pull back, the window will go up, but when you push it forward, the window will not go down. Now it works just fine from the driver's side switch, so we know it's got to do something with the switch itself. I do have a few switches, but I do not have this switch. So we are going to try to take it apart and see if it's as simple as something that I can deal with. Alright, so it's this switch here. Looks like we got 3 screws. Okay. Oh. Didn't mean to do that. Looked like a little plastic bit that was holding it on there. Just snap that off. So that's cool. Always fun to break things off, especially when they're plastic. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's do the other side. Hopefully these don't break off in the process. There we go. So these must push these down. When that makes contact, goes down. When that makes contact, goes up. Could it be as simple as cleaning the contacts? Looks pretty dirty on there, in there. That could be our issue. Let's see if that does it. Looks like that's coming right up. All that grime. Let's clean the contact ends. Lots of dirt on that. Okay, and that's back on. Put that back together. Let's go try it out, see if it works. Let's hook the switch up. I think it goes to this one, and we shall see if it works. Alright, that's plugged in. Alright, looks like it does work. We got down. What we have up? This thing is slow. Huh. But now the door lock won't work. I'm going to try something real quick. Alright, so here's what's actually happening is when I plug this in, it locks the doors and keeps them locked. I can't even use one of the switches in the driver's door. It doesn't work when this is on. So this must just be permanently in lock mode. So we got to open this back up and see what is wrong. But we fixed the window part. Alright, let's tear this back apart. I'm thinking this is what's going on. There's a little stick here sticking out that goes back and forth, probably lock and unlock, not sure which direction. In the button here, there's one little lever, looks like it's got a split down the middle, and it seems to go back and forth. So this little nubbin probably fits inside that lever. I'm guessing when I put it back together it wasn't lined up So this was probably switched to lock and it stayed there. But in normal operation, if I push this down, it pushes it back, but then when I let off, it brings it back to center. When I push it down the other way, it pushes it forward, but when I let off, it brings it back to center. So that needs to be centered. That way it's neither on nor off. Okay, let's try that out. I don't know quite how to see that. There's really no way to know. I guess we just have to go plug it in and try it out. Take two. Alright, lock the door, unlock the door. Alright, window, up, kind of, and down. Perfect. Success. We have door locks.
Nice.
Up, down, up. Down. Window goes up. Well, this worked earlier.
Oh, that's true. How does it go down? Yes.
That's how you fix a window switch, and then break the lock switch, and then go in and fix the lock switch.
And then put the window switch back in.
And then put everything back together. Alright, we are going to put the hubs back together with the bearings. So we have the new bearings here. Just in case you're wondering, these are Timken set 47, two of the same bearings. These are the races that came with the bearings. This is a seal. I think it's called an oil seal. Anyway, that is Timken as well. And I don't see a number on this one. Seal number 225875. So all Timken. I had to go out and buy a hub bearing race and seal kit for installation. That was Harbor Freight. Pretty cheap, straightforward. So we got that. So let's give this a shot. First things first, we need to start with the races. We're going to install those, and we're going to start by putting a thin layer of grease where the races go, both sides. Alright, this is Lucas Red and Tacky Grease multi-purpose, and then we are going to coat this. Bear with me, this is the first time I've ever done this. First time I've ever taken a hub apart. So we got a thin layer of grease on there. We are going to use this tool here. I think we're going to use a rubber hammer, as the instructions on the tool said. Looks like it's going in pretty straight. You can kind of tell when it hit bottom. And you can see it as well from the bottom side here. Alright, looks like that's in. But I definitely don't think it's required. Oh, that one slid right in. Okay, well that one went in really easily. It looks like it's fully seated. Give it a few more hits just in case. Alright, that was easy. So, next thing, we're going to put the bearings. We have to actually lubricate the bearings. Before I do that though, I'm going to coat the inside of this hub. Any surface in there at all with grease, just kind of a thin layer, just so nothing rusts or corrodes, because this is the side the seal goes on. We're going to coat the outside of that with grease as well. Prepare that for installation, and I've already done the inside ring here. Alright, and then we got to put this bearing in here, but before we do, we have to pack this full of grease. So what I'm going to do is put a chunk of grease here in my hand. And we're going to hold the bearing like this. Apparently we do this until you can see grease popping through at the top there. And then we work around and just keep doing that. Until we have we've done that all the way around the entire bearing. Alright, we've gotten all the way around. It's all the way through all the bearings, and we're just going to load this thing up. And I'm just going to drop this puppy right in there. Boom. Alright. That one looks like it's done as well. This one we're going to set to the side for the moment. And then put the seal here. Alright, so this one looks like it's this goes in here. So I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize. We'll start with 2. In the manual, normally it says when we separate these two to put marks. When we put it back together, we put them in the same spot. Obviously, we have a new rotor here, so I guess that's not really applicable. So I don't know how this is supposed to be done, but just to keep track of which ones I've torqued and which ones I haven't in the star pattern, after I've done torquing one of them, I put a little black mark on it. So I should have probably done this before I did the put the hub together, but we're supposed to clean the surface. Alright, next up, let's lube up all of our surfaces. Just going to basically lube everything with grease, and then we are going to ooh, that's a good sound. There we go. Alright, got our lock ring. Put some grease on that as well. Alright, so next step, we're going to use this tool right here. It goes on here, goes in these little holes in that nut and tightens it on. Now, to get this to work, this isn't actually the one from Mitsubishi. You can see it has 6 points on it, and our nut here only has 4, or really 2 points. So we're going to grind off 4 of these and just leave 2 right here to use on this. I think this is actually the tool off of a I don't know, for maybe a GM trucks, but you get this on Amazon or eBay pretty cheap. It's a 2 5/8 inch. Looks like the part number is W1270. All we got is the 2 left, and we're going to go pop that in with a torque wrench. So next up, we're going to take this tool, goes in here like so. We're going to tighten this to 118 foot-pounds. Then we're going to back it back off to 0, and then tighten it to 18 foot-pounds. This is the only one I have, which is the one I use for my Unimog wheel bolts, but this will take me up to 118. There we go. 118. Sorry, that was 119 foot-pounds. Now we take it back down to 0. So we'll switch to a breaker bar. There we go. Down to 0. 18. just kind of how things go, right? So we used this one earlier. It's really small. It's like, I think we did that 7 foot-pounds for the ring, 3/8 inch drive. I was going to use this for this, but this is 1/2 inch. That's 3/8, so that won't work. Look for an adapter. Don't have an adapter. I have plenty of other adapters that go from like 3/8 inch, or sorry, for 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and all kinds of other adapters, but not one that goes from 3/8 to 1/2 inch. This one's just way too big. This is actually a 3/4 inch drive, reduced down to 1/2 inch, so it could fit this. But it doesn't go down to 18 foot-pounds, so that's not. So then I had to dig this one out. This is an old one I have. This one is 1/2 inch and does go down to 18, so we're good to go. Jesus, who knew you would need 4 different torque wrenches? It's insane. I guess that's 18. Alright, next up, put the lock ring on. There we go. So next up, we're going to start putting the lockable hub on. You're supposed to use RTV, so I just used simple blue RTV. And I just put it on this edge here, which is kind of a seal between this piece and the hub itself. So I am just going to add a little bit more grease. Alright, let's put this on. We're not going to torque those down for another hour. That's the instructions on the RTV. Let it sit for an hour and then torque it down. And we're going to put this washer back on. And our snap ring. And these are not the right snap ring pliers for this. I guess there's flat ones. We're going to try to make the best of it. Alright. We did it. Alright, so the RTV has dried. We are going to torque these bolts, holding the hub on, and we're going to do 40 foot-pounds. Alright, those are all tight. This actually fits right on there. It's set to free. Why does that not want to go on? Oh. There we go. I don't know why, but it worked that time. Sweet. Let's put these little bolts on. These bolts here are 10 millimeter. And they're supposed to be torqued at 7 foot-pounds. There we go. I apparently just don't know how to read. Next thing we're going to do is see if this thing is actually working. So, when I spin this wheel, right now it's set to free. So this should be free spinning. The axle shouldn't spin with it. Alright, and then let's lock it. Oh yeah, look at that. Now the axle's spinning. Sweet. Alright, final step. We just need to put the brakes on. I thought about my options, and I have 3 of them as far as I can tell. These are most definitely narrower than these. You can see if I put them on top, or let's put them below. There you go. You can see it overlaps, which means even if I were to jam the new ones on there somehow, part of this edge would be sticking over the inside, and I don't know if that would be a problem or not. But it would also kind of warp it and cause some issues. So here's my 2 options. These are the old ones, these are the new ones. So I can either run the old ones, which I cleaned up. They got pretty clean. They're not perfect, that's for sure. I can take a new one and just cut it down the middle, and then we got 2 pieces, and then I can slide them apart to where they need to be, and they fit fine. But then it wouldn't be one piece like this. Or I can try to get new parts, which I'm not really interested in waiting for. So for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the old ones back on, and they just pop right on. Super simple, no drama. So that one's on, and that one goes on. So brake pads fit just fine. I tested that out. There's no problem with those going in there. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for now. This is real easy to pull off later on, so if somebody else has some different advice or thinks this is totally the wrong way of going about doing it, please let me know. But right now I'm trying to just make do with what I have. So everything else will be new, brake pads, rotors, but the hardware will be old. We're going to try using an old brake pad. Alright, that wasn't pretty, but it worked. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize on these. We're going to torque these down to 65 foot-pounds. One key component is you want the actual brake pad to go in. We're going to lube these. Because these are old, you can see exactly where they were. Shaft here. I'm going to put that in there. Close this up. Put this new little piece on. New rubber piece that came with it, the kit. Alright, so then we're going to torque these down and then we should be done. 32 foot-pounds. We are finally done with that. That took many days. It'll be much faster for you to watch it. But yeah, I have no idea how that took so long. I'm really hoping the second one goes a lot faster. I'm not going to film that one, so that right there should speed things up a bit. Now I have all the tools I need, and hopefully there's no new problems that didn't happen on this one. But pretty happy with the results. I mean, I haven't driven it yet, so we'll see, but it looks nice. Once again, new locking hub, new wheel bearings and races on the inside, new rotors, new brake pads, and I guess that's about it. So on to the next one. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching.